surrounding yourself with people that are adding to your winning, supportive of you, excited to be around. You don't want anybody in your life that isn't behaving that way, or doesn't feel that way pretty naturally, It's not the best person for you to spend time with. You'll all be dead soon enough. I always think your time's your most valuable asset, so it's important to guard against wasting it with the wrong people.
Hey, what's going on? It's your man Brandon Carter, and I'm here with my man Derek Moneyberg, and we are doing a live webinar coming soon, showing you all about. Man, tell them what the webinar is about, bro.
Look, if you're not a lover of poverty and despair, if you'd like to have more wealth in your life, you'd like to have a promotion at your job, you'd like to get a raise, you get a fat bonus check. If you're starting to do a business or you have an existing business, you'd like to grow it a lot, we're going to help you with that. You want to join this webinar, see the date below, click the link. You want to join this webinar, let us help you have more financial abundance in your life, the way we helped each other, the way we helped a lot of other people.
And this is a live webinar. It's not something pre-recorded. It's live. We'll be able to ask us questions. We'll answer your questions live. You do not want to miss out on this. Make sure you register now, all right?
Rules are guidelines in life. Maybe some laws are too. But any good entrepreneur, you're going to think about rules as a guideline, or you're going to think of, well, why does this rule exist? What is the purpose of this? And if you could keep that principle in mind, does that principle benefit you? Is it suitable for your goals? And I hesitate to say the guy's names, but I guess I will because it's humorous and there's no harm done. But a couple of the co-founders from Groupon I spent quite a bit of time with over the years, and Eric Lefkowski and Brad Keywell. And these guys are both multi-billionaires today. And when I first met Brad, he was much poorer. He only had about 600 million. But don't worry, he's not struggling like that anymore. He's doing a lot better now. And they would say shit like that all the time. They said, yeah, well, to be a good entrepreneur, you have to be like a borderline criminal. In the sense that if you're always following somebody else's rules and you're never being a critical thinker of like, well, why do these rules exist, and is this beneficial to me to follow this rule set? Under what circumstances should I not follow the rule set? Those people tend to get ahead better. And that's not even like a f***ed up way of thinking. Like that doesn't mean the rules are a bad thing. Like rules in general are good for dumb people because it helps them from like not getting hit by a bus or something. If you tell the dummy to, make sure you look both ways and come to a full stop, wait for the walk sign. Don't cross the street when the walk sign's not on. Like those are good rules for a child. It's good rules for an adult that's kind of dumb. A thinking human, if you show up at the crosswalk and you look to your left and you look to your right and there's nothing there, should you really stay there for another 80 seconds? Is that really the right thing to do? So, no, be responsible. So, is there a large vehicle? Is there danger? Is no danger? Okay, I can walk then. So, yeah, rule sets are good for some people, and that's good it gives you some structure when you're learning some shit. So when you're a kid, there's certain rule sets that kept you alive, but as an adult, maybe, use some discretion or judgment, and in this context, does it make sense to go along with that? Yeah. What are your thoughts about that sort of thing, of rules in fighting or rules in business?
It totally makes sense what you're saying, because like going back to what he's saying, right? Like some fighters don't keep their hands up the whole time. Like if you're far from me, not in a hitting distance from me, you don't need to have your hands up. You can, I'll punch you from here and nothing is gonna happen. So. Like Derek is saying, depending on what's going on around it, it is a rule, but not really. If I get close to you, I want to have my hands up. If I don't understand distance at all, now I want to have my hands up at all times, just like the dumb human, right? I want to have my hands up at all times. But now, if I understand distance, if I know where I'm at, I'll have my hands up whenever I want. Because if I get far away from you, I'm not going to get hit. So I can drop my hands and it's fine. But now if I get to a distance where if you punch me, you're gonna hit me, I need to have my hands up, right? So the rules are there to make sense in the right context.
Wouldn't you love it if your opponents through life just kept their hands up here the whole time? And
I would love it.
Just
with
gave
the
you an
body.
easy liver kick or single
Take
leg,
down.
double leg,
Yeah.
just throw them on the ground.
Yeah. So they there, but not to use it all the time.
You know where a lot of unnecessary pain and frustration comes from is people's relationships with others. You know, romantic relationships or feeling like you're supposed to do something for your family that's not doing their part for you. So I totally agree with you. You said, I'm just building off of that, is that there's another unnecessary source of pain for almost everybody, you know? Almost everybody. You know, women are some of the worst offenders, which is hilarious and in a sad way, where a woman will complain about her boyfriend and she'll break up with that guy and then she'll go find another guy just like that. Just like that. Or she'll go back to the first one again. And they do that all the time. And men have their own version of mental illness where they do these things to themselves. So, yeah, maybe be mindful about. I had a conversation with a young woman once. She says, you know, essentially, today is my first impression, so I should be impressed. And I said, I'm going to make zero effort to impress you. I couldn't give a less. There's nothing in the world I care less about. I'm going to do exactly what I would do any other day of my life, and I'm impressed with the way I'm living my life. And if a specific person isn't, okay, it's no problem. A lot of people would be happy to spend time with me. A lot of people would be happy to be a part of what we're doing. So I think those are, I don't say that in a snotty way, I just say that in a very sincere way, is like, it's really backwards thinking of like, to change, you know, your core behaviors or go out of your way to do something like that is just, you know, really quite silly. It's not beneficial for either party. It's not very beneficial for anybody. Like the best thing you could do is not to try to impress someone, but to impress upon them what sort of experiences or you know, behaviors they could expect if you're spending more and more time together. So it's better to get rid of somebody in 30 seconds than 30 days if you don't have good compatibility with that person in any context, in a business relationship or a training partner or romantic relationship or whatever, you know? So, yeah, but the more we can find those overlap between those things, I think there's a lot of overlap between your relationships and quality of, you know, friendships, relationships in business, relationships with your, you know, friends, which there's probably a lot of overlap in those things, relationships in, you know, a romantic context, etc. There's a lot of that has to do with fighting, has to do with business. Like all those things are synergistic and related to each other. I don't even think of them as very different at all. They're just slightly different contexts, but a lot of the same principles apply across those areas. And to treat them as like separate silos in a person's life rather than look for those synergies and build your life in a way that you know, you're surrounding yourself with people that are you know, adding to your winning, supportive of you, excited to be around. You know, you don't want anybody in your life that isn't behaving that way, or doesn't feel that way pretty naturally. You know, it's not the best person for you to spend time with. You'll all be dead soon enough, and you know, I always think your time's your most valuable asset. So important to guard against wasting it with the wrong people. Never in history were the men in society so soft, so pathetic. When in history did that happen? I went to 60-something countries, 66, I think. And I mean, the guys here particularly are soft. It just is sad. You know, if you can't outperform these guys, you're in trouble. There's never in history has there been, you know, such soft, weak, pathetic guys. And it's just so easy to stand out. It's so easy to outperform. And it's, you know, truly a lifestyle choice to accept a lower place in society or live your life in a lesser way than you could have. If you're just willing to be a little uncomfortable. And think how great we have it. Like, you know, like our family, our ancestors, World War II generation people. My grandparents are like, my grandma was way tougher than like most men from right now. Like, our grandmothers were way tougher than what passes for a man today. So she and I spend so much time together. I I think we both make a point to try to spend a lot of time together, and I really enjoy working out together and talking about business things. And so all we talk about is, all we do together is like productive stuff. It's like, go get money, kill your enemies, get more money, train to kill your enemies. That's all we do. That's all we talk about. And I don't know you want to talk about anything else. It's all we do. So I always think it's humorous. I literally think of most men, I kind of compare them to Claudia in the sense that I'm like, oh, like my little friend who's 130 pounds is like physically stronger, could beat this dude's ass in a fight, 200-pound guy, psychologically tougher, physically tougher. That's true of, the vast majority of men. So I can't help but have that filter in my head, for better or worse. Yeah, most guys are just soft. And even guys that are, good at something, they tend to have situational confidence that they're good at one thing, that they're a doctor or an attorney or in some other profession, and they, in that one context, they feel important, but then they fail to develop other things in their life, So there's, very, one-dimensional and also sad in a lot of ways.
Prosperity is a lifestyle choice.
It's a choice.
Bumbling around by yourself in the dark, also a lifestyle choice. Choose wisely. Choose prosperity. Choose to win. Choose to conquer in the new year.
Or don't. Somebody got to flip the burgers, man. Someone got to watch the cars, all right? And that's cool. Like, you'll still be useful in that regard, but it might not be the ideal outcome you want. You want to make your next year your best year. This is your last opportunity. Click that link now. Let's go.
If you're not going to wash the wheels on my Maybach, click that link. Do yourself a favor. We'll see you inside.